Monster Hunter has been out for a little bit now. I've gotten 72 hours, gotten up to HR 40, and I've beaten the main storyline, done some in-game stuff, and I've just been kind of chugging along here. And now that we've gotten to this point, the game has been in my hands. I've been able to play it. My general opinion that I had for the game, or just the series, because I know a lot of people thought that I was specifically talking about Wilds, and I did kind of present it that way. But when I was saying that Monster Hunter isn't easier, I was just kind of talking about the series as a whole. But after some deliberation, reading a ton of comments, and talking to some close friends of mine about it, I have come to the conclusion, now that I've played the game, that yes, Monster Hunter Wilds does feel significantly easier than other entries, especially low rank. High rank was about the same to me. Like, high rank kind of felt about the same, even though monsters died just a little bit quicker than I had thought, or than I had previously thought that they would. Which I have some theories about that, but anyway, a lot of people seem to think that the general health of the monsters are just lower overall. I don't know about that. I haven't confirmed that yet, but I'd be curious to see what the stats are on that, if anybody actually has the data. But yes, the initial game does feel a lot easier. But after a ton of deliberation and, like I said, just comments, talking to friends about it and getting different perspectives, I have come to the conclusion that for me, difficulty does not equal fun. And all the time I've played Monster Hunter, I have never once been attracted to the difficulty in the game. Like, that has never been a selling point for me. As a matter of fact, thinking about all the things that you had to do back in the day, the stupid power stance that you do after every potion, the perfectly timed, completely programmed combos that the monsters could do that would set you up perfectly to be hit and die no matter what, where they'll hit you one time, you'll fall and you'll roll, and then they time the next attack to go at the exact millisecond that you would get up and it would kill you instantly. All that stuff, like all the things that, the clunkiness, the lack of controls and accessibility and stuff like that, all that stuff was never like a selling point for me. Those, I didn't play the game because those things made my life a living hell or annoyed the hell out of me. I played Monster Hunter because I thought Monster Hunter was fun. I liked the systems and the weapons and the combos and the moves and the monsters and the behaviors and the ecology and the story, or lack thereof. Just the characters and stuff like that. Those were the things that drug me into the game. The kind of RPG kind of aspect of it, and everything that kind of came with it. But all the quote unquote difficulty, the hardest battles in the game, like the fatalises and the that stuff, none of that stuff was the selling point for me. Like, I never, when I think back fondly about Monster Hunter and all the things I love about it, I'm never like, oh man, I loved fighting a Rathalos 642 times before I got a ruby. Man, oh, I have such fond memories of that. No, I hated that shit. Those were the parts of the game that I could not stand. I hated it. I used to get so furious having to fight something like 300 times just to get the one thing that you needed. And then the next hunt, you get like three of them because now the game knows that you got the thing you wanted. So now they're not withholding it from you anymore. you know, like, all that stuff was never a selling point for me. And then I started thinking even harder, like, okay, now I need to think about what kind of gamer I am and the type of person that I am, the way I enjoy games. And I started thinking, okay, I played all the Souls games. Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, played them all, beat them all, had a blast. What was fun about those games to me? Finding OP builds, using magic, in Elden Ring, utilizing the summons and finding ways to cheese the bosses that I thought were way too difficult or way too hard for me, and finding ways to win, getting that fingerprint shield and making an invincible build where I could basically just completely block everything and turtle behind my shield with my spear and stab things to death, even though these things would normally give me an extremely hard time and kick my butt any other time. And then I realized, like, I'm not actually that good of a gamer when it comes to like these type of games. Like, most people, when I look at the skill and the finesse and just the overall, you know, just watching people play the game that aren't me. I'm just like, man, look how good these people are. And I'm not really good like that. I always find a way. I always end up prioritizing defense and making some defensive build that just makes me so tanky that no matter how many times I get hit, I survive, or making an invincibility build where no matter how much I get damaged, my health regens so quickly that they can't do anything about it. I did that in Souls games with my blessing builds and the adjudicator shield, and I just like, you know, those are the things that I was finding fun. It wasn't the difficulty, it was finding a way to weasel around all of it so I can still come out on top despite the fact that the game was relatively difficult for me. And then it all started to click. It's just like, well, yeah, well, there it is. Like, the difficulty was never a selling point for you. So when games become quote unquote easier, you consider them better. And I got kind of offended by that conclusion, even though it was something that I came to myself. But then again, like, I've never considered myself like a pro gamer. Like, I never tell people like, oh, I'm the best at Monster Hunter. When I tell people about Monster Hunter, I tell them I've been playing Monster Hunter forever and I really love the game. But I would never go out and be like, I'm a pro, because I've been playing Monster Hunter for, like I said, over 15 years, and I still can't accurately like do two things at one time. So here's how my brain works, and this is why I suck at video games, by the way. I do not possess the mental capability of paying attention to what I am doing and also simultaneously paying attention to what the boss is doing. It has to be one or the other. And if you guys watch my gameplay, you will see how true that is, because no matter how many times I fight a monster, unless I am completely kind of turning my brain off and kind of not paying so much attention to what I'm doing and solely focusing on the monster, it's hard for me to tell when an attack is coming, how fast an attack is coming, because my brain is focused on doing the proper combos, keeping my moves up or whatever, or keeping some buff up or whatever. And if I'm focused on that, then I can't focus on the boss. And if I'm focused on the boss, then you'll see that my combos or the moves and stuff that I do aren't really consistent, because I can't do both. And this has been an issue, not even just in video games, but in my entire life. Like, multitasking has always been quite difficult for me. And if you have watched my other gaming channels and stuff, talk to some of my other viewers, they will tell you like, this dude can't multitask for nothing. And it's not, and unfortunately, like, it's not something I can train and get better at. It's just the reality of my life. Like, my brain does not work that way. I can't process those two things at one time. So I've always had a difficult time with like the harder bosses and stuff. So I compensated by making sure I beefed up my defense to where like I didn't have to focus so much on the monster. I could focus on what I was doing, which explains why I like maining the lance and other weapons that have shields, because when I'm holding my shield up, I have a moment now to where I can focus on what the monster is doing. And then when I put my shield down, I can focus on attacking, and I can kind of shift in and out of attack and defense mode, because unfortunately, that's just how my brain works. That's what works for me. So I'm really good with weapons like the lance, but give me something like insect glaive or dual blades or something like that that leaves you completely vulnerable, where I can't switch from offense to defense, then things get crazy. Like, that's just kind of the way it is. Now I am making some crazy admissions here, but like I never, like I said, I've never been one of those kind of elitist, look how good I am at video games type of people. Like, it's never been important to me. So the fact that I know that there are going to be plenty of comments like, "Oh, why do we ever listen to your opinions? Because you're garbage. You suck at games. Like, who cares what you think or whatever?" But like, I don't care. Like, I've never aspired to be, never claimed to be, never wanted to be, or pretended to be some pro gamer. I just love video games. I play a whole bunch of different video games. Some of the hardest video games out there I've played and beaten, even if I had to kind of cheese my way through it. And it is what it is. Like, I don't care. If people think I'm garbage or I'm trash, that's totally fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Because I'm having fun, so fuck you. At the end of the day, it just is what it is. And I think that's what it is for me with Monster Hunter. Every Monster Hunter game that I've played since the first one, I have always been having fun. Except during some of the harder moments, fighting some of the hardest in-game bosses with the one-shot kills or whatever, like Behemoth and Monster Hunter World, man, I cannot express to you the rage that that boss instilled inside of my soul. Even the Witcher boss from World, that Witcher one that they had, the Lich or whatever, that wooden creature or whatever, I beat him one time ever, just once. I beat that boss and never again. And I beat, I think, the first two forms of Behemoth, but I never beat like the ultimate, like the, what was it, I think it was Ultimate, the Behemoth Ultimate or whatever. Never beat it. I just said, screw it. I can't do it. I'm sorry. Like, even in a party, I still couldn't do it. Because that crap was so difficult for me. And even though the spectacle of the fight was crazy and I was having fun experiencing it, the difficulty of it was not something that I look back fondly at. Like, I wasn't like, oh man, I loved suffering. That was great. Like, no, I hated that shit. The fight was cool. It was epic, and it was like, this amazing crossover thing that I got really excited to be a part of. But I didn't enjoy that it was super difficult. That was not fun for me. I hated it. But I still had fun, and that was the thing. Like, for me, like I said, difficulty isn't the selling point. Am I having fun or not at the end of the day? And I think that's why I'm in the position where I'm just like, you know what? The moment I'm playing a Monster Hunter game and not having fun anymore, that's probably when I'm going to be like, all right, this franchise is taking a turn for the worse. But unfortunately, I happen to be one of those people that even if a game is maybe getting a little too easy, even if a game is maybe getting a little too streamlined, even if a game has maybe adopted some things that, I may not be a crazy fan of, because there are some things in some Monster Hunter games that they added that I wasn't crazy about, At the end of the day, I always look at myself and I'm like, are you having fun? Yep. All right. Then that's it. The conversation ends. Dude, I've played 7 Days to Die for years. I think over 10 years I've been playing 7 Days to Die. People ask me directly, dude, you've been playing 7 Days to Die all this time. Is that game fun? And you know what I tell them? I look them right in the face and say, it's fun, but it's not good. And they're like, wait, hold on. What do you mean it's not good? It is a clusterfuck of a game with a shopping list of problems. It has so many issues and problems or whatever, but I have fun when I play it. Same thing with Ark. Ark Survival Evolved is literally the best polished turd in existence. Everything about that game is a complete clusterfuck. It is broken, it is stupid, the devs are lazy, they refuse to fix things that should be fixed, even though they keep renewing the game in all these different ways and selling you stuff, and they just can't seem to get it right. And I've spent so much time literally fuming over how stupid some of the decisions are in that game, and some of the things that they did, and the way that it runs, and the way that the monster and the AI behaves. But every time I play Ark, I'm having fun. So it's just like, I'm having fun though, It's a hard thing to really articulate, and the only thing I can really say is, like, I'm just human, man. Like, it is what it is. I'm not afraid to admit when I'm wrong or when I'm incorrect or when I'm on the wrong side of an argument. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm just a dude giving his opinion on the internet. I got what? Speaking of which, let me just, you guys have been going crazy with the comments, the engagement, and the subscribers. I had like 300 subs last week or something like that. Now I got over 500. Thank you guys so much for subbing to the channel and listening to my worthless opinions that literally mean nothing to anyone. Really appreciate it, man. I love Monster Hunter content, listening to all the discourse, even the people who were telling me I'm a dumbass and I was wrong. I love Monster Hunter. I love talking about Monster Hunter. So, it is what it is. But I do want to thank everybody for the engagement, talking about it and stuff. I'm having fun. Even with this, even when people are saying you're a dumbass, you don't know what you're talking about Monster Hunter is fun. So, still, at the end of the day, I do appreciate it. But moving on, Yeah, I just that aside just completely destroyed. See, and this is what I was telling you guys about my multitasking and the fact that I can't do two things at once. I was already carrying a thought and I interrupted that thought to talk about something else, and now that other thought is completely gone. It's gone now. It is gone. There's no way to retrieve it either. It's something will have to remind me of what I was talking about before that. And that is a prime example right there of exactly what I was talking about. But anyway, at the end of the day, is Monster Hunter Wilds easier? Yes. Is it less fun because of it? Nope, not at all. Not for me. I had a blast playing through the storyline. I had a blast fighting the monsters, crafting the weapons, doing all the Monster Hunter stuff. I'm still having fun right now. After I finish recording this video, I'm gonna go play some more. That's just, it just is what it is. Now, do I understand the concerns of people who are seeing the game's trajectory and are showing concern, right? I do totally understand where you guys are coming from. I've seen many of your perspectives and I get it. I get the fear, I get the concern, I get the annoyance. And the performance thing is just completely unacceptable. Like I'm overlooking it because I haven't really had that many major issues, even though my frame rate has been, tanking like crazy during some parts or whatever, which is annoying. But it's unacceptable. They should not have released the game in this state, and they need to fix it soon because it's kind of ridiculous how poorly this game runs at this point. But that aside, I'm really enjoying the game, and but like I said, to sum everything up, game easy. Yes, that's true. During the end, it gets a little more difficult or whatever, but at the end of the day, the overall experience seems to be easier than other Monster Hunter games. Game fun, still having a good time. Love me some Monster Hunter. That opinion has not changed, and I'm gonna be playing this for probably a couple more thousand hours, just like I did Wilds, or just like I did World, and just like I did Sunbreak or Rise. So, there you go. Rambling over. I don't know if that was a coherent video at all. I don't know if I made a whole lot of sense. I feel like I did a whole bunch of rambling about nothing in this video, but if you made it to the end somehow, then thank you for watching. Hopefully I articulated myself enough for you to get some semblance of what the fuck I was trying to convey in this video. And if you didn't, then fuck, I'm just some random dude on the internet. So maybe you should make better decisions with your time. And with that said, I'm gonna fuck off now. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.